Can you talk the audience through how you got busted and how you did time in each country?
Yeah, so what happened was I had to launder the cartel's money out of Australia, and that's what made it difficult, right? The drugs are easy to sell over there, as you know, right? Like everyone wants racks.
Dude, you can just walk out on the street and half the street's going to buy it off you.
Especially when it's coming from Colombia, right? So we're getting 95% pure cocaine. So that's the easy part. The hardest part for me was A, counting it, and B, trying to get it out of the country. You know, you can't just take that bag of cash and get on that Qantas flight and go home. It's impossible, right? We're talking tens of 20s of millions of dollars, right? We're making a week. So, you know, I had to hire people to launder my money, you know, and people got indicted in my case. You know, my personal accountant, some of my best friends that worked for me in the bookmaking operation. And I remember I came across this fellow that was a blackjack player, and he was a professional blackjack player.
In Australia?
No, he was actually in the U.S.
Okay.
But I was introduced to him through a friend of mine, and she says, this guy does this for a living. He launders money through the casinos. I'm like, okay, he's perfect. I said, how do I get him? She's like, he'll fly over. So I met him. I made an introduction. We shook hands, and we agreed on a 25% fee. He was going to charge me 25% of whatever he laundered for me. And the way he did it was through the casinos, the Star Casino. He went over there with a duffel bag of cash, and they already knew he was this high roller because his host from Vegas called in and says, we got Robert Cipriani coming in from the U.S., and he's a high roller blackjack player. Can you please make sure he has a VIP table ready? And he shows up. He gives them this bag of cash. They don't even blink an eye because they already know he's coming. Boom, 1.5 million. He plays for a couple hours, and he says, you know what, I'm not feeling it. Cash me out. So what did they do? They take the chips and they write him a check. The check is now made. All that money is now clean. And now he goes to his sister, the sister company, which is the Venetian in Las Vegas. So he flies back with the check. And over there, he's a star, right? So he takes that check and says, hey, cash me out. I want some chips. I want some cash. Plays for a couple hours and cashes out the 1.5, takes his percentage, calls me up. Hey, I got your money. I said, this guy's the man, right? Like 48 hours. This dude's fast, right? Yeah. I said, okay, great. Fast forward like 2 months later, and he's calling me. Hey, can we do that again? I said, fuck yeah, we can do it again. You know, I'm sitting on like 10 million.
Cash.
Yeah, cash in my apartment in Darling Harbor.
No.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck yeah, come on over. I said, I got like 2.5 right now. I can give you. That's in a duffel bag. So he requests this, put it in a suitcase. So I bring it to him at the Four Seasons over in Sydney. And 2.5, he says, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. And he calls me like 3 hours later, and he goes, mate, we got a problem. I go, what do you mean we got a problem? He says, I only got $300,000 left. I said, wait a minute. I said, what do you mean left? You had one job. Your job was to keep 25% for you, and the rest goes to me. And he's like, I lost it. I said, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. And at the time, I'm at the gym with my personal trainer / security guard, and I'm saying, hey, you got anyone at the Star Casino? I want to do a check on this, see if this guy spent my money or he stole my money. He goes, yeah, I got a buddy. He's a pit boss over there. I was like, all right, well, we're going to the Star Casino. And we go over there and we meet him. And we're dressed in these 3-piece suits. We look like mafiosos, right? And this guy's looking at us like just freaking out, right? This gambler's like shaking. I swear I lost it all. I'm like, fuck. I don't think this guy lost it. I think he's playing us. And sure enough, my trainer / security guard, Sean Carolyn, he checked on it, and they said he fucking lost it. I was like, fuck, what do we do now? I'm like, well, this guy's not leaving the country until we figure out how we get it back, right? Like, he needs to figure it out. That's not my problem. We had an agreement. So he said he had 300,000 left. So I said, okay, take that 300, bring it to this hotel we're staying at. We got a hotel at the Hilton, which is off of George Street. And I said, just bring that 300, bring your passport, and my boy Sean here is going to meet you at the hotel. So we called him, we told him the room, and at that same time I told Sean, let's get some money out of my house. I want you to take this money and take it to your farm in Penrith. I said, I don't want to have it. I said, this guy knows where I live. If he starts doing weird shit, they might come to my place. So I gave him 700 large. So I figured 700 large I had, he's going to bring the 300, that's going to make an even million, and I was going to have him take the million to his farm in Penrith. So I was like, okay, cool. So I sent him on the way. I gave him the suitcase. He takes that suitcase, he gets to George Street, he opens the door to the Hilton Hotel, and sure enough, there's 4 New South Wales cops waiting. They're like, are you Sean Carolyn? They already knew his name and everything. He's like, yeah. Well, we got to report that there's a gun in your room, 1026. He's like, I don't have no gun. Like, go check the room. They're like, no, we're going to check your luggage. They open the luggage, and sure enough, there's $700,000 there. And so now I just lost $2.5 million plus $700,000 of the cartel's money. And I don't know it at the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm calling Sean. He's not answering. I'm like, oh, fuck, this motherfucker got me. He burned me, right? Like, he's not answering his phone, but he got arrested. So he's in the jail down somewhere in Sydney, and I'm freaking out. I'm like waiting, and finally I get a call from the jailer. She's like, yeah, I got Sean Carolyn. He's asking if you can help bail him out. He has some of your money. I'm like, he ain't got none of my money. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing stupid. And fast forward, and he gets out, and he tells me what happened. I'm like, holy shit. I said, I'm fucked. He's like, don't worry. He goes, we'll get a lawyer that can get you this money back. Like,
This is your buddy that's saying?
Yeah, this is my buddy. So we end up reaching out to a couple of some organized crime figures in Australia, in Sydney. Yeah. Craig Hauser, one of them, and Craig's like, oh, we can get this money back. I got the perfect lawyer. And this guy's name's Michael Croak. Like, I was like, Michael Croak. I said, what is he going to do for us? He says, don't worry. He says, we'll give him a percentage and he'll get the money back. He says, we'll pay off some barristers. It's easy. I don't know. I'm not from this country, so I'm thinking, whatever the lawyer tells me, I'll go with. If you think it's going to work, let's run it, right? Like, I want that money back, because you got to remember, I'm on the hook. I'm the one that took the responsibility to launder this money for the cartel. Nobody else. So, I'm freaking out. I'm like, fuck. Finally, a Hefe's hitting me up on the encrypted phone. He says, hey, I need you to drop off a couple million. I'm like, oh, about that. I send him a encrypted message back, and I said, hey, I'll be back in LA. I said, I'm just leaving Australia. I said, give me a couple days so I can get back to the U.S. And I fucking freaking out. He's asking, where's that money? I need it dropped off at the stash house. And I said, man, I can't tell this guy on an encrypted phone that I lost his money. Like, it's not going to fly. He's not going to believe me. So I was like, you know what? I have to meet you in person. Is there any way I can meet you in Mexico? He's like, yeah, I'll fly my private plane to the Tijuana airport. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. I said, I'll cross the bridge and I'll come over. I got to meet him. I got to tell him in person.